What are we seeing, Fredy?
Basically, this is it. This is a clinic where most people that are in this neighborhood come to because they can't afford big hospitals. So those are the beds. It's one room where everything is done. These guys get to save lives. In the midst of what you see here, there is people that comes out of here alive and better than what they were before. Is there any risk? Yes, there is a lot of risk. But what is the alternative? Leaving someone to die. So they do surgery here and they get to work with patient here. This is it, guys. People that God loves. Either God is unjust or we don't understand why God has blessed us.
My name is Riley Endicott, and earlier this summer, I traveled with United for the Future to the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Fredy invited me to see the place where he grew up, the place that taught him to bless others the way that he has been blessed.
It's a very exciting moment because I feel like I'm going back to the Congo different than when I left. When I left the Congo, I was just a little kid, a hard-headed kid who to most people would not amount to anything. When I got to the U.S., I was a little bit frustrated with God. It was hard for me to picture a God who was just and a God who was good, who at the same time allowed people in the Congo to suffer so hard, so much, while many other countries like the USA are so blessed. The difference is now I feel like I have something to offer.
The statistics from the Congo are staggering. Despite exporting tens of billions of dollars in natural resources every year, the average Congolese person survives on less than $2 per day. With unemployment around 80% and life expectancy under 60 years, the UN has it ranked nearly last in the world in quality of life. The natural resources from the Congo are key components to producing technologies such as computers and cell phones, luxuries that most people in the Congo can't afford themselves. The wealth from this country doesn't stay here, and the natural resources don't benefit the people living here.
This inequality did not happen by itself. It is designed in order to provide cheap labor and in order to provide cheap material. In other words, this allows us to afford a lot for less when there is people that are paying for it.
All of this led me to wonder how to respond. Solutions are rarely simple and usually need to come from local people to be sustainable and effective. A couple of years ago, Fredy introduced me to a community leader in the capital city of Kinshasa where he grew up. His name is Pastor Jean-Baptiste Simbuela. He's a well-respected pastor of one of the larger churches in Kinshasa. They shared with me a dream that God had put on their hearts: to build a low-cost medical clinic in Kinshasa. United for the Future would use its U.S. connections to help fund and build the clinic, while Pastor Simbuela would provide the doctors and nurses from his congregation to help staff the clinic. When he picked us up, we asked him for a first-hand account for why the situation in the Congo seems so bleak.
What is actually happening in the eastern part of the country is only about minerals. What you hear about wars, what you hear about people coming from abroad to kill other people in our country, what you hear even about some of diseases, it's only about minerals.
So the minerals that you are talking about is the minerals that we use to make cell phones,
Yes.
and the tablets, and all the electronics
Yes.
that are
Yeah.
used all over the place in the world.
Yeah.
So the natural resources come from here.
From here.
And what is the cost for the Congolese people?
About 4 million people have been killed for that mineral. That's first. And there is no schools there because every child is forcefully used to extract mineral.
In the mining business.
Yes.
And so family are destroyed.
Yeah, family are really destroyed.
And
you heard about women who have been raped by this group coming in the country to extract mineral.
And so the question is, how do we tell someone who does not know God that God is just, that God is love, when we as the church miss to represent God as such? So when we start asking these questions, we realize that we have a lot to do as the church. We realize that we have received a mission to be a blessing to those that are in need. And when we hear about the Congo, the suffering in the Congo, these are our brothers and sisters that need us and that needs to hear from us.
I think the church, especially in America, have a prophetic role. The church has a prophetic voice to say what is going at the Democratic Republic of Congo is not God's will.
Wow.
Since all this started, the church was silent. But we need the church to raise the voice and say what is taking place in Congo is not God's will.
On our way to the construction site, we decided to take the scenic route to see the neighborhood where Fredy grew up, the place that shaped and formed him. It had been nearly 18 years since Fredy had been home to see his family.
You know, it's emotional in the sense that things to me got worse instead of better. But at the same time, it's a joyful moment because I know at least I can try to do something for some of these kids that I had given so much opportunity. God has been so good to me that I have to be good to others. I have to show that same love that God has shown to me.
All right. This is my mother. Her name is Anne-Marie Sekele. Maman Anne-Marie Sekele. So these are my friends. Introduce yourself.
We met over there.
Okay, introduce yourself again.
Desmond.
There it is. And Jake. Where's everybody else? Ah, Mama. Dengenil. Sente bien?
Bien.
Ah, Mama Gizizi. Wherever. This is our neighbor. She's been our neighbor forever. And she's still here, so that's beautiful. Didn't I tell you I'm from the jungle? Now you believe me? Now you believe me. These are my parents. That's my dad, math professor, and a nurse, head of nurse at one of the biggest clinics here. They've been a blessing to many people here. And if I have learned anything about serving, I've learned it from these people. They have worked as hard as you can imagine with the little that God has given them, the little opportunity that God has given them. These are the three things that they told me growing up in this land. Number one, put God first in your life. Number two, work as hard as you can. Number three, pursue to be a blessing to somebody. And that's what these guys have done. You say success, and in America we think success is having beautiful houses, beautiful cars, beautiful anything. But I see success here. When I meet people in America and when they see me preaching in different places and the things that they know about me as an engineer working with the leaders of our community who are making decisions on what next hospital to build, and those people qualify me of being different, thinking that somehow I did not come from a neighborhood like this. Somehow who I represent to them is way far from me being here as a little kid with no hope whatsoever. But what I understand is that even those kids that we see, there is a purpose in their life, but they can never make it unless we are willing to do something for them. And yes, coming to America changed my life. But if God has changed my life by allowing me to come to America just so that I can forget about everybody else who are suffering, then that makes God look unjust and not loving. So can we consider these kids as our kids because they are children of God? Can we consider these people as our brothers and sisters because they are children of God? It's our big question. And if I can do what I'm doing today, then God has inputted the same, if not better, talent in them. As I'm coming back here, it gets emotional to know that these kids are me a couple years ago. And I wouldn't be in America now mentoring young people so they don't go to jail if it wasn't God allowing me to come through this pain, this suffering, those scars to build me to the person that I am, so that I can care as much as I can for these communities. So this is the clinic that we've been talking about. This is the construction that is still ongoing. As you can tell, we are standing on the first floor, getting ready to finish the shell of the second floor and to do the finished work so that we can get the building ready to welcome the medical equipment and so that we can start the work here to help this community. I wanted you to see where I come from so that you understand that I've learned from this brokenness that there is something so much bigger than just trying to find our comfort zone. $200,000 can actually finish this project so that we can have something available for the next generation here and save these people that don't even have the minimum. So this is it. This is where we are. And I hope we're gonna push this project before the end of the year. We're gonna be able to finish the first floor and we're gonna be able to raise the second floor, at least the shell of the second floor. And with the support that we're gonna get from you guys, we'll be able to finish this project completely so that we can use the space to help people in this community.
All too often, success gets equated with what we've accumulated and the life we've built for ourselves. It's a self-serving and consumeristic scale that never stops to ask what or who the true costs might be. But maybe success isn't material accomplishments and wealth, but maybe true success is found deep inside each of us when we discover our God-given purpose to bless others. Maybe it's partnering with your local church to care for the widow and the orphan. Maybe it's sharing what you have and blessing others with it. True success has more to do with serving than being served. For some, it could be returning to the place you grew up to leave it better than you found it. For others, it's spending a little time mentoring kids in the US. And hopefully for all of us, it's uniting for the future.